start with a word from the Chafetz Chaim and to extend it to only the Chafetz Chaim can make this deal. And since the Chafetz Chaim said it, so we have to hear something about it. I want to say a little word that they say about the Chafetz Chaim, but it's brought down in the Chafetz Chaim ala Torah. They tell in the Pirkei Avos that Hillel HaZokein had Shmonim Talmidim, 80 Talmidim, and the smallest among those of Yechon ben Zakkai, and the greatest among those Yonasan ben Uziel. She'olov omru shekol ha'oiv ha'parech olav nisra. They want to show how great he was. The learning was so strong. There was a fire that went out, and any bird that would come above would burn. More about Barasukos on the way. So if we see how the Talmidim were, surely we see how great Hillel HaZokein was. However, what was the madrega of Hillel HaZokein? If his Talmud was learning, the learning was so strong, fire, that a bird came over, was mamish sizzed and burnt, and was like burnt up. So strong was the Torah. But this is just a vitz, but it's an understanding. But what was the greatness of Hillel? He was even higher. That if a bird passed over him, it would go b'shalom. B'li she'en lo kol ra. But if a bird passed over Hillel HaZokein, his power is so strong that it wouldn't burn. It would come out straight. You gotta understand what it means. You're gonna get it. What does that mean? His power was so great that even if there was a fire of a machlekes, he'd be able to cool it down before it would get there. In other words, the fire would go out. But the greatness of Hillel was so strong that the power of Hillel was so great that the bird, instead of burning, Hillel's Torah source would make shalom, and the bird would not burn. And that's an interesting thought. If we press it a little further, we think of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. He was in the cave. He was there, how many years? 14 years? 13? First time he wanted to go out was 7 years or something. What?
12 and then 13.
12 and then 13 more, whatever it is. The first time he was hanging, he was going out, and he saw people, farmers there, involved in Olam Hazeh. And he says, how can the people get involved in Olam Hazeh and not learn Torah? They're wasting their life. He looked at them and they just burnt up. Hashem says, go back into the cave. They went out of the cave after more time. When he got into the world, what happened? He saw people, who knows what they're doing. He was so strong, his power, that he was able to somehow make shalom in the world. I'd like to explain it this way, that there are different stages in a person when he grows. In the Balei Tshuva stage, when he first starts, he gets himself and he learns the rules. He learns there's different rules, there's different gedorim. And therefore, right away, he brings the Midas Hadin, Midah Keneged Midah, and right away he scrutinizes everything with a microscope or a a little magnifying glass, but right away he sees fault and he already has boxes. He has little boxes, little stamp, he says, because he himself has to judge himself. Since he has to be hard on himself, so therefore he's hard on others. And right away, since he has to toe the line and give up everything and become religious and draw the lines, he wants that everybody should toe the line and keep their religion, and if not, he has a stamp just like himself. How can he be one way and the other person another way? Just like a person handles himself, he understands the other person. So then he has this stamp upon himself, just like himself. If he is good and he's learning, so it's good. The other person not learning must be bad, not doing things right. The person who doesn't get rid of his taivas, his gaivas, is bad. Somebody who doesn't get rid of his taiva, he recognizes right away because he already has a sensitivity. He has to stand bad, apikaras, bad influence, terrible. And right away he has these boxes that he cannot relate, and he has these black and white definite boxes, which he understands. Why? Because that's how he views himself. He's hard on himself, and he has to be hard on the world. And a person cannot be inside and outside of him. Only to himself, to himself he's one way, to another person is another way. It can't be. He has to be one, he has to be total, he has to be complete. How can he have a double standard for himself and others? He knows the truth and he sees the truth like he sees it himself. And therefore, he gets into this box and he gets into these conflicts and he got all these problems. Then he begins not to see the world around him. He just thinks of himself and his family. Okay, forget about the world. I can't correct my friends. I see the guy with I can't have any friends or relatives. It's all full of guy with covered, etc. And they're no good people. They're all bad people. They're terrible. I see their bad videos somewhere in the world. Terrible things that happen to myself. Oh, Hashem, at least I'm learning all the time. I'm good. And I'm working my way. And he may be right always. And he has this problem, so he already makes this turn around. But in a way, he has to have a problem. How come Hashem is so bad? Keeps them alive. Okay, Hashem. And there's a Rahman, even they're bad, it's alive. What about the midah of shalom, or the midah of understanding? By the way, this is a joke. I don't know what it is, but it's a good svara of the Chavetz Chaim anyway. And at this point, a person has to grow. He grows from musar sefer to musar sefer. He goes to the musar, and he finds out. He opens up Yisrael Salanta, which is a very difficult book. Yisrael Salanta was one of our great Torah luminaries of Goyin. He opens up Or Yisrael, and he starts seeing things in it. He begins to see there are new things that are happening in the Tikkun Amidos. He thinks until now he's okay. He's okay, and working himself, and davening, etc. But why is he talking about Bali Tshuva? Okay, he's no longer Bali Tshuva. He's a regular guy who has a black hat, a black suit, and a white shirt, and he fits in the crowd. What's he now? People in Bnei Brak. Okay, so they say the joke. But how do you know a person's not a Bali Tshuva? They say he starts talking during Hazar Sashatz or during the reading of the Torah. He feels comfortable. It's very nice. Now he looks at the musar books. So the musar books and the musar room, that's for the guys who have bad midos. And the guys that don't learn. That was when I first started in Yiddishkeit and I first came into the door. I have to fix it. How come? Yeah, well, okay, read it, okay. I'm not so bad, I'm really good, I'm okay. Because he has a problem. Until now, when he came Bali Tshuva, he was no good, not okay. And the world was okay. And when he became okay, he said, the world's not okay. Now he's okay. What do you need Tshuva for? He's okay. No problem. I have guilt. Until I work to get my self-worth and my value and who I am and what I am in the world. That takes a long time. Now what am I going to do? I look at myself again. I go through the same hard things I did when I first started to become a Bali Tshuva 20 years ago, 18 years ago, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't want to go through the same ringer. It's hard. I went through it and now I'm okay. I got to hide now among the real frum guys in wherever it is. I know. Where is it? Or Bnei Brak, or wherever it may be. Or I'm talking to all of us. There's nothing talking personally. Myself, I hide among. We want to black hats and white ones slip into Shari Chesed and the old city. Who knows where we're going to go? Get out and be the frum ones and not to be. You know what I mean? I'm okay. I mean, okay. Now he comes to a musar book. He reads it. He sings with it. But somehow, what happened here? Is he working on himself anymore? Does it mean the same thing? He's happy. He'll be more from do the positive things. Make more Oneg Shabbos and more happiness for Shabbos. He'll worry about education of his children, and he'll learn more about quality, etc. And that's all. What's the So he has to start opening up the more serious and more. I mean, they're all serious. Don't get me wrong. Shari Tshuva and
Mesil Shesharim is Chayvus Avavas are masters, which we can't even understand yet. He started. Rabbi Mordechai said he's only reached in the middle. He went out to Nikias there. He didn't get into Nikias. We're already down to the Ruach HaKodesh, thinking how we're going to get in Olamos, how we're moving. It's only a space between me and God. He's the Olo, Ilu, and I'm the Olo. I mean, whatever it is. Don't need a difference of position there. But really, what's in me and Hashem already? I got the inside. I do what I'm doing. People who are in Kabbalah tell me that, which is a joke. Anyway, so now he opens a more serious musar book, and he finds out that there are very, very difficult chapters here. Very difficult chapters. Very difficult chapter. I want to explain a little bit. He finds out that there are hafchiyim, opposites. Until now, he wanted to be straight in himself, straight with the world, and therefore, he can't be otherwise. He's boxed in. Either I'm MS or not MS. Either black or white. Either I'm ish MS or not. I'm ish Baal Taiva or not about Taiva. Ish Baal Kavod or not. Where am I? And he make a hard line. Then he finds out that there's a little more movement taking place. And he opens up Yisrael Salata, or Yisrael, and he finds out an interesting statement. Tikkun Hamidos. He has two parts. There's Tikkun Hamidos and Kvishas Hayetzer. Kvishas Hayetzer and Tikkun Hamidos. There's now two boxes, two categories. Okay, read a little further. And he says, it says in Pirkei Avei, Rotz Mitzvah, Ubarech Min Aveira. So you have two forces, running and running. So when do I do the running, and when do I run here and run away? I run to a mitzvah, and Barech Min Aveira. So when do I get closer, when do I go far? And he says, Kol Adam V'Adam Midosa Mishtanos. Everybody, his midos change. I mean, just like you take a shower every day, you clean off the dirt. More dirt comes, you got to clean it off. It's not just you took it off once and that's the end. You clean your house once and it's already clean. You wash your clothing once and it's already there, ready. It means it's constant work. He has to start searching. Now he takes cover. Starts with cover. It says, Boreach ben HaKavod he mido yekara. Ki HaKavod mitzvah ben the man runs after covet. It takes him out of the world. He has a problem. It says in Pirkei Avos, Eizu mechubar l'machabed es-abrios. I have to give cover to the brios. Now why should I give cover to the brios? If covet's the worst midah, how can I give him the worst midah in the world, which is cover? He should be running away from it. So how can I give him the cover? He has a conflict of a problem. Prisha. Wonderful Prisha. It's a mile of Gedela. When my friend needs something, he's missing something in his house, he's missing food, or he's not trying to get food, so that to be, let's say he wants some, make a nice cake, or whatever it may be, or he thinks I eat it, or they want to go somewhere, do somewhere, they say, listen, you mind my child, I want to go somewhere here. He said, listen, shouldn't there be a din precious here? Just like I with myself in Poresh. So they also be precious by them too. How come? When it comes to your friend, I don't think of the word precious. I want to give him everything, and he should have more than what I have. And he had more and more, and I have to go out of my way to make sure he has more than I have. And to see that he does get the luxury, he does get the care, he does get the buildings. Husband or wife. And you have to see that your wife gets the things. What do you have to give her things for? And clothing, and a house, or whatever it may be, or goodies. Precious. We have to work out precious. Is it fair that for me there's precious and for her there's luxury and goodness? What's happening over there? It's already getting into a conflict of when yes and when not. So which midah is good? Precious is good. Running away from covet. How come for me I got to run away from covet? If others I got to give the covet. It's bad for them. How can I give them bad things? And vice versa. Precious, I got to stay away from things. So how can I give them things? It doesn't make sense. It starts getting into conflicts. When yeah, when not. Then Chazal tell us the Dvarim Rabbi Yud Aleph says Moshe Ish Elohim. We're talking about Moshe Rabbeinu, Ish Elohim. So the Medrash makes a diak. Ish Elohim. How come it says two parts? Ish Elohim. Maybe is it Elohim or an Ish? Make up your mind. This Medrash don't get. Then the Medrash says, half is below. He's an Ish below and a king and an Elohim above. Even though he was perished from the Chem De'ilam, the whole Zois Hetzio b'Bchinas Ish. The Mashin El Yisrael Aturim Olav. Take, for example, another. A person should be a nana. It's not going to give him cover. I'm hurting his anivus. I'm making wrong for him. It's not good for me to give cover to a person. Let it be another, let it be a shofel, let him battle himself to the world. I got to tell my wife, no good, it's bad, you're nothing, you're zero. How can I give cover? I'm working on her anivus. Or vice versa. You know what I mean? It's the same problem here. They give a rise from Shaul HaMelech. Shaul was a nana, but when he got Malchus, he was taken away from the Malchus because at this point he's a Melech. He had no right to be a nana about not killing Amalek. Comes along Rabbi Yisrael Salanta and makes a yisur. As we see from here, when a man has to do it himself, you got to do those midas. When you come to somebody else, tell this chavera, it's just the opposite. You have to do the opposite midas. So you're going to be a schizophrenic for yourself. You have one script. The other people have another script. And he brings a raya. Well, he gets even further. Remembering and forgetting. There's a place to remember, a place to forget. When you remember, when you forget. Certain things you remember, certain things you forget. When it says, Ahavo machasa pesha, somebody does wrong who you love, you got to forget about it. You got to cover it over. Certain places you have to megala. So when yeah, when not. How do you get the measurements? Here comes the secret. If the person has the real personality of health, of maturity, of understanding, he's able to know to him. He's able to. That's not a split personality. Chas v'shalom, I'll explain right away. He's able to have many scripts and many relationships, and there's no conflict. And there's no conflict in his midos. And he brings a raya and says, "Vayetzel es Adam, shtei yitziros yitziro min ha'tachit yitzim min al-yonim." Man was created with two yitziros, Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara. And similarly, at different periods of time, there are different things to do. When you're young, it's hard to be so the old, to take upon yourself a yoke. But it's easy to massacre in your ways, quick. You can change. When you get older, you can be sovel though, you can take responsibility and take the pressure, but it's hard to change. So therefore the Avodah changes with different positions and matzavim and different people. When you're young, you can do things with besimcha, with energy, with happiness and joy. When you get older, it's not exactly what joy and happiness. It's routine, it's regular. Love goes out of the window, you have responsibilities, different things. I'm just saying that, that's what always be. And you have different parts of the body. The seichel is chocher, the tachlis goes after the mind goes after the tachlis, and what is yosher, and the emotions, the hergeshim, tell you other parts. You have to know which part of your body is talking, what is happening. How can you worship Hashem with your Yetzer Hara, with your midos, called the Eidel? There are all types of different ways. In order to solve the problem, you get to a point of a very simple solution. If man is doing the Ratzon Hashem, the will of God, and that's his tachlis, so then not only these Baal Chesed, sometimes you have to be Chesed to one, you have to be an achzorit to somebody else. To one child you have to be kind, the other child you have to slap. Does that mean you're an achzorit? Yes. An achzorit to one and a chesed to the other. But since it's all Ratzon Hashem, if it is Ratzon Hashem, so it doesn't affect your total whole of your being, that you become a split personality, or you lose the essence of what you are, lose chesed. There are certain dominant factors and weak factors and more factors. Less, more and less. And you have to be a chacham, and you have to ask, what does the Torah demand of me here? To do chesed, to do achzoriyat, to do wake the kids up in the morning to get to the meeting. There's achzoriyat, they're tired. Wake them up. Get up, he's sleeping, he's energy. When the poor child needs help, maybe they'll do it later. You don't train the child, what happens? You don't make sure it makes a broken, have the patience, then what's going to happen with the kid? You don't put on his what's going to be. But it's freedom, good. It's also true. So watch out, when the freedom already stops in encouragement and love, and when you want to grab him over, or when he already learns the traits already, and then you have a lot of money, you're not going to put those sitters on, money, Amazon, or make the brachas, and you have any problem.
It's a big deal. I won't pay back every day or what happens. I'll wait till this somehow I'll get the rainfall coming in, somehow I'll win out. I'll pay everything off, I'll be the big shot, maybe it'll be happy, I'll give them a little more than they deserve, and I'll make them feel good. Meanwhile, And the guy wants his more merchandise, and the big day, the rainfall didn't happen, and things didn't happen. He can't produce. It's the end of the story. He's out of business. The pressure break on. So the same thing he says, the Chofetz Chaim, that if you do a cheshbon every day, you'll be able to handle your problems. The Yetzer Hara is every day out to fight you and to kill you. You have to understand the Chochmas Hadavar. As you grow in maturity, it gets harder. And the Yetzer Hara is cleverer. And your goal to reach heights of perfection are there. You cannot be satisfied with yourself. And you don't do a cheshbon nefesh every day, a little bit here and a little there, and watching here and understand yourself. You think you're a nice guy, you see today you weren't such a nice guy. What happened here? And you see over here, your nerves went here, and over here, you didn't learn a little Torah here. You wanted to relax a little more. You didn't get to the minyan over here. How come? So you let it slip under the rug. I'm really a nice guy. You let it slip under the rug. So what happens? Time goes by, and other bad midos and other things happening. So you don't do a cheshbon every day. In the real cheshbon of after you are Balei Tshuva and after you are already good, you don't do the following cheshbonos, then little things seep away, and you'll find out in most business, most things collapse because they don't have a cash flow, or they don't really have in their business a way to keep themselves going daily and watching them, what's happening, so they lose the big thing. The big thing may never come. So therefore you need, in the Cheshbon Shalom, which is this coming Sedra, you do Cheshbon HaNefesh. It's for the masters that need the Cheshbon HaNefesh. They want to grow another Madrega to perfection, to go. And to understand how to do it, you need Or Yisrael books. You need to get involved in the depths. You have to really read Shari Tshuva Rabbeinu Yonah and really hold every word dear. You'll see Chidushim, Nifloy Mad Ma'ov. You have to read Chaim Vital. Where did those come from? What is it from? In order to be able to understand your line of thinking, where your midos come from, what it is. It's an art. People study psychology, get masters, doctorates, write books, and they say, I understand. I understand myself. Your dad, Shor Nefesh Behemoth. I know myself. You know yourself? How much does a man really know himself? You have to work. You have to understand it better. Because you want to use yourself to get the goal of Tikkun Amidas and Krishas Hayetzer to reach those heights. And he gives an interesting example, Roshil Salanta, also of the outside and the inside. So let's say, for example, Yeshua Salanta says, it's his example, it's not mine, but the example is good. It's good now, it's good tomorrow. A person has a student he loves because he's learning Torah, he's happy with him, and he has a son that he hates because he's bad running around here, there, doing all kinds of worm royim. And all of a sudden a fire breaks out. It's Hesach Hadas, and it's just a matter of instinct. Who does he grab? If it's a matter of thinking, he may grab the student, but it's a matter of instinct. Who does he grab? His son, his child, or the student? He saves his son. So from here, Yisrael Salanta learns, and he gives other examples. He says, there's the Chitzonius and the Pnimis. There's external things which come from the Seichel and understanding in society, like behavioralistic attitudes of people, how they think and how they act. But somehow internally into the real depth, they say blood is thicker than water. The real depths of what they are, what they really feel inside will come out. So it's not enough to handle the external and look at yourself in the external. There's also pneumius, and there's pneumius, and there's the conscious and the subconscious and the subconscious. There's all kinds of levels that's within a person's personality, and if he doesn't work on it, it creeps out. Say, well, I know, I took psychology courses. I've got a doctorate, I got a lab. Very nice. So what? So what? What's it got to do with anything? Oh, I can help the world. Very nice. It's about helping yourself. How come you're not the master? How come you're not the tzaddik? How come you're not well, check yourself out. Why do you say al-chet? Why do you say this? Well, that's a formula. Everybody says it. I say it too. And the answer is no. You have to realize that a person has to perfect himself more and more. And al-kamad atzmacha ayom oscha. So you have to see what's done in Hesach Hadas. When you have Hesach Hadas, you see where you're at. Comes the summer, what happens in the summer? Very simple. Rippy, no more yeshiva, no more books, let's go, let's have fun, let's see, we got to take care of the kids, very nice, And then you see where you're at. You open the sefer, You really learn? You're talking Torah with your kids, or just relax? What do you do? Where are you? What's happening? And if you are reading the Sefer, why are you reading the Sefer? You really should be playing with the kids. Because you want to prove to the kids you're a masmid, to your wife, I don't have to do the dishes, I don't have to take care of the kids. Why are you doing it? What's happening over here? Just because you are and on, you have to know where you are. When there's no hesed hadah, when there's no real thought, where are you? When you're unclothed, what do you really want? Are you about taiva, about kovas, about kina? What are you? Where are you? And this is a poor thing of the pneumius, and that's what Sosalanta says, Baruch Heshbon, you got to work on it. You have to know yourself well. And then you have to work in yourself to grow. It's just the beginning of life. The Balei Musar are just beginning and starting to know who you are and what you are in the life. I just want to add a few little interesting thoughts. Just want to add this little other thought. The Vilna Goin in Ruach Eliyos Magala Big Son. Let's say somebody does a good deed to you. Al Chesed, they went out of the way and helped you out. So simply, what do? You repay them back, and you do a good deed to them. I said, look what a nice guy I am. What? I'm such a nice guy? No. Comes the Vilna Goin, is Magala son. And here's the son. This is found in Perek Chav Beis in Mishlei. Chesed ve'emes charshei tov. The difference between chesed and emes. Chesed is that you do, that you're not obligated. Emes is what you have to do. Repaying somebody is emes. That's a titin emes to Yaakov, Chesed Avram. So therefore, when somebody does something good to you and you pay him back, that is emes. So in order to do chesed to them, you have to do more. Now, if you think about that a little bit, and we extend it to husband and wife, what would you say? Rebbe Talmud. The wife does something for the husband. The husband's repaying back, taking you out, I'm buying this for you. Look what you've done for me. So the wife says, that's very nice, but that's emes. Where's the chesed? I did you chesed. And vice versa. Very nice. The husband did for the wife says, look what I'm doing for you. I slaved for you. It's very nice. But that's emes. Where's my chesed? What are you doing extra for? In order to do chesed for chesed requires more. And the same thing is, it's a circle again, and it continues and goes on. You got to think of the picture. And there's a very interesting thought. Why is it emes? Because if I do good to you, so you must repay me. That's emes. Why? If you're truthful, hakora satov, you have to pay back. So pay back is a chiyuv. It's emes. You must pay back. Otherwise, I'm a kofi tov. I'm not a good person. So I'm paying back. I have to pay you back for what you've done for me. But it's really, but you pay me back what I've done. I did you ches. I did it on my free will. I was kind to you. I was nice to you. So what are you doing for me? Well, I paid you back. Pay me back. That's called paying back. That's emes. Where's the ches? This is what I tell my talmidim. They don't want to hear that. They want to say, paid back already. I did a little chesed for you back. That's it. Finished. No. The answer is that you have to understand there's a relationship here. Again, if you didn't have a chazal that said it and a Vilna Goin that said it, would you say it yourself? Maybe yeah, maybe not. But once it is said, and chazal defines it and says it, then already the obligation is there. And that you have to hear. I want to tell two more points. Interesting points. The Chofetz Chaim's Megala Sod. They said that the word shtika, something you have to learn to keep quiet. In a marital life, a husband and wife learn not to see and not to hear. So you say, how do you get that training? And the answer is, it's an art. It's called an umnus. So the Gemara says, in Chulin, Peites, Ma umnus shel adam. What is the art that man has to learn? There's a certain art. Now, to learn an art and a trade is a little different. Yase atzmo kilim. You have to learn and train yourself. It's an art to keep quiet. Now, in all art, you go to art school, you learn artwork, you know what I mean? There's an art to keep quiet. And every woman, if she doesn't learn that, every husband, and you don't missing that art. What art, what artistic umnus is for the person to, or trade a person should have? That should be learn to be an elaine. To shut your mouth and don't talk. Now you're bothered, troubles are thing and brewing, and you got things to say, and you got good points, and you're right to why you're saying, why do you have to say? But if you have a cheshbon on nefesh and you learn your cheshbon and did your work, you'll know and you'll learn. There's a training, you need a special training to shut your mouth, to be deaf, dumb, and blind. Chas v'sholom, that's what it means. And let it pass. Otherwise, marriage doesn't work. You're ruining your kids. If you catch every time the kid stole or did everything, you're already pressuring. So the kid can't take a nagging mother and a spanking father, whatever it may be. They have to overlook that. They overlook God. I mean, he keeps us going. He writes everything down. Okay, when the right time comes, talk to me. But not every little thing, every minute. Don't be down my back and down myself. You know. Sometimes you have to catch the point. You don't know when to catch the point and what. That's safe. When do you catch the point? When do you overlook? When do you do? That takes work. That takes cheshbon on nefesh. You have to get up. The husband and wife get in a huddle in the room. Listen, the kid stole some today. The kid spared lashon hara, didn't study today. He hit his pen. He broke the window. He urinated in his pants and this and that. Who knows? All kinds of problems. What do? You get in a huddle. Let's watch it. Let's keep it going. Let's write it down. Let's see what happened. You have to watch and see. Sometimes you have to write on the spot to do it. Sometimes you have to hit on the spot. Sometimes wait till father comes home or this happens. Take wait. But sometimes you have to look at it. It's an art. An umnus. When to speak and when not to speak. When to shut your mouth. You shut your mouth. Sometimes you may win and gain your point without speaking. That's an umnus. It's a very interesting word. The Chofetz Chaim is Magali. And another thing I saw in the Chofetz Chaim which I like to say, which is to me a chiddush. It says like this here. There were 5 Talmidim of Rabbi Yochanan, of Yochanan Zakkai. Rabbi Eliezer ben Huka's Bur Soy Cheno Ma Beitipo. The Kashul, what kind of mile is it? Guy remembers. He has a good hand. He remembers. Hashem gave him the schus. So why is it here? Why does it talk about? There were 5 Talmidim talking about midos. What does memory got to do with midos? Is Magala so? It has to do with midos. He brings a raya. Why don't you put your heart? Why don't you remember? What's happening here? It has to do with midos. Has to do. You want to learn, you want to understand, has to do with midos. It's a quality in the mind that you have to be trained to do, and it's a training. It just didn't happen to him because he has a good memory, Could be he started with a good memory. But to say that he has a good memory, to keep it on his head and to remember, requires training and requires work. We have another month before the month of Av. When the month of Av comes, the summer comes. If you train yourself now, you have the last push with your children in school, that they do good in the school, it's like a race. You have to push the last bit in the race to make sure they come out with flying colors. We also, in the cheder, we have to push hard and see that the cheder kids come out good and they do their work and know their material. We too have to push hard before the summer comes. We have to make sure we do the daf yom. We have to know, get involved in shiur, and do shnayim for targum, and get involved and understand. We have to work hard in the cheshbon on nefesh. Make sure we have the right midos and understanding. then when the summer comes, we'll have Hesach Hadas. Already we'll have different personality, different person of who we are and what we are, and we'll develop another match. Hashem makes Rosh Chodesh a time of kapara. Forgiveness, what's happening, another push in our lives, another try. Every month is like another Yerech, another moon, another try of a 30-day period. We have to use all our energies, all our ways, to understand there's a lot in human personality. Let's not be satisfied with who we are and what we are. Try to perfect ourselves. I'll leave it to Torah, do Ratzon Hashem, and try to do the cheshbon and nefesh that we need, husband and wife together, and try to figure out how to grow another notch in Torah. Hashem gave us the bracha to live this month, to be here on this earth, and Eretz Yisrael, and Tziyon, to be there. Let's work together to make that other growth, a spiritual growth in our neshamas in order to grow higher. Well, we hope we'll bring the good name. Any questions?